Priti Patel has been warned by an expert that she faces an unsolvable problem when it comes to tackling a strata of illegal immigrants. The British government has been fighting worker shortages for months now, with no signs of the situation improving. And an expert has now claimed that the Conservative ministers, including Ms. Patel, face an unsolvable problem, as they made immigration of workers from Europe nearly impossible. Dr. Joseph Downing, a fellow in nationalism at the London School of Economics, said that Ms. Patel is facing a problem she can't fix. He told Express.co.uk, "The problem with the current situation is that you don't reduce labour migration, you just create a strata of illegal migrants. And that's what I think is going to happen. You're not going to stop people from Romania or Bulgaria coming to work in agriculture, they'll just come here illegally." Dr. Downing described Ms. Patel's approach to the issue as rubbish. He said, migrants come here for lower pay, working in worse conditions, and Priti Patel talks about clamping on migration to combat all the worst crime and people smuggling is total rubbish. He continued, effectively what she's doing by pushing this migration underground, is strengthening those in organized crime and people smuggling. The past few months and weeks have seen shortages across a range of various foods, from Cadbury 99 flakes to Italian tinned tomatoes. The food supply industry has warned that more food shortages are now inevitable due to labor shortages. There is a lack of drivers, NHS workers, as well as those working in harvesting, manufacturing, and packaging. Dr. Downing said that what adds to the problem is the fact that British people simply do not want to undertake the jobs usually carried out by migrants. He said, English people also don't want to do the work. It's not about economics. It's a bit like the argument of Latin American or Mexican farmers in the US. Dr. Downing added, advanced capitalist societies have this real paradoxical problem, and one that is extremely complicated to fix, where you have high employment in certain areas, especially among skilled, shall we say native workers, but they don't want to do the jobs that the migrants do, or they are not capable of doing them. The reason why EU migrant labour is so coveted by businesses and previous British administrations was because effectively you don't just get cheap labour, but you get labour that is good value as well. Because often it's the best and the brightest who will take the jobs that they are overqualified for. He continued, they are willing to take that loss for better future opportunities for themselves and their children and an increase in wages compared to what they were earning back at home. And, it's going to be very difficult to see how this, particularly the labour shortages, is going to be addressed without effectively opening the borders to EU migration. It's an unsolvable problem and there is no easy way of doing it. The expert further claimed that British people would rather survive on the lowest welfare handouts that pick strawberries in a field. Dr. Downing concluded, this sort of propaganda pushed by right-wing politicians that migrants come here to take advantage of the state, the truth is we have some of the most residual, difficult, low-paying worker states in the whole of Europe. If you were a benefit tourist you wouldn't come to the UK, you'd go to Germany, the Netherlands or Sweden. And that's the thing, that particular demographic of white working-class British people, they just won't do the jobs, but they'll complain.